Hi, Yves. How are you?
Hi there. I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful. Where are we calling you from? Your studio or are you at home?
Well, I guess my home and my studio it's the same
Okay,
thing
perfect. Great
these
stuff.
days, right? These days it's the same thing.
Exactly, exactly. Well, let's get started. So, welcome everybody to Gray's featured speaker series. It's part of our virtual design expo. I'm Lauren Mang, the digital editor for Gray Magazine. We launched this digital symposium about 5 weeks ago with the hope of building community and relationships within our design industry during this pandemic. So today we are chatting with Yves Behar. He's the industrial designer and founder of San Francisco-based multidisciplinary firm Fuseproject. Behar founded Fuseproject 2 decades ago after recognizing a need for a truly integrated design firm that fused everything from strategy to industrial design to user experience, as well as you wanted the belief that truly good design has the power to improve people's lives. So among some of the work that Fuseproject has done, everyone might know the Frame TV, which was a flat screen television designed in 2017 for Samsung that, when turned off, transforms into a digital art showcase. It's something that my husband and I are actually looking at purchasing for our bedroom quite soon. So thank you again to everyone who is part of our live stream. And if you have any questions for Yves as we're going along, feel free to send them in the comments, and then we will respond as we get time. So great to see you, and thanks again for joining us.
Oh, nice to see you too, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're excited. So my first question was going to be, what are you working on right now? But you recently collaborated with a company called Embodied on a new product called Moxie. So I want to talk about that and learn more
Sure.
about it and what the user or what the public can expect when this comes out.
Yeah, absolutely. So Moxie is one of these projects that I've worked on for probably 3 years or so, and the team of Embodied is based in Pasadena. They're roboticists, they're child development specialists, they're game designers, artificial intelligence people. So incredible team. And the goal here is, and something I'm always excited about, is to apply technology to people who need it the most.
Mhm.
In this case, children who may need a sort of additional developmental health, all the way the autistic spectrum, all the way to kids who just need support, socializing, looking at people in the eye, having, conversations, etc. So this is really technology applied to people who need it the most. I think those are the best examples to me of really technology's potential to support us as human beings, to collaborate with us, to be to be humanistic in some way.
Mhm. And when will Moxie be available for?
So they will be shipping, I think, 100 Moxies to people, I believe, for free, as a learning exercise. So that we get feedback and we get input from those users. And then after that, it will be a subscription based product.
Okay.
And again, this is for child development specialists, somebody to come in your home and help with your child. Is very expensive. So this really kind of is a solution. The kids will only use it 20 minutes to an hour at a time. Um, um, and it's not meant to be there at all times. It's really
Right.
meant to be there for the child to exercise that sort of conversation, eye contact, emotional connection, and empathy.
Okay. Is there a certain age group that it's targeting, or is it spanning?
Yes, 6 to 9,
Okay.
but then there may be some younger children that can benefit from it
Right.
as well as older children. It all depends of where they are in their development.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about how this pandemic has affected your business, your creativity, and how are you, dealing with that in your professional life, I should say.
Sure. I think designers, when we're when we're put in front of a new situation where we're confronted with challenge, designers tend to rise, I think, and I have found the design community to be really engaged, to be really motivated, to do two things essentially. One is to continue to build on the relationships that you have with your current clients. Keep the businesses alive, keep people busy, and then from that standpoint, I've been really tremendously impressed by the Fuseproject team. We've had many client presentations, pitches. And the fact that the creativity is still flowing, even though we can't be there in person, it's still happening on a daily, hourly basis with the whole Fuseproject team is super cool to see.
Yeah.
We didn't know how we were going to do, right? This was a surprise to everyone, even though there was clearly some good preparation.
Right.
And then the other part that I think designers are doing is they're getting involved with different actions, different initiatives. So we have teams working on ventilators. We have a team that's worked on the website for the testing of the entire Bolinas. It's a small town north of San Francisco, the entire town, which is about 1,900 people. And that took place. We're working with some vaccine and testing companies.
Okay.
I'm working on some masks as well, which I hope to be able to share with people soon.
Good.
So, we're doing two things. One, keeping building and making things on the projects that we have and the partners that we have, and then jumping into action where we can support and help. And overall, I think it's been, while sort of at times confusing and a difficult time, it's been also, creatively speaking, a very dynamic time.
Mm-hmm. Always keep moving. I mean, that's what we have to do right now.
Yes.
So taking a little more of a personal turn on our questions, what did you want to be when you were 10 years old?
Well, that's a good question. When I was 10 years old, I think 10, 11, 12, I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to be I was really into science fiction. I was into kind of stories of survival and conquest. So I wanted to be a writer. And what happened a little bit later, when I turned 14, 15, I was lucky to find design as early on as a passion, as something I wanted to pursue. This was a bit of the punk era. So, we were
I remember
the punk.
This last time.
Yeah. So
we talked about this.
What was amazing about that time is you didn't have to be a professional to participate. As a punk, I would go into my parents' basement and I would make stuff. I would make clothes. I would make furniture. I would build things, and you didn't have to be trained. And it kind of opened up the creative opportunities for a lot of young people, in that area, at that age. And so, that's definitely something that I feel very fortunate to have found early in life. The other thing then is, I also found that you could tell stories with design, that design wasn't just about inanimate objects. It wasn't just about something that stood there, but it could also really connect with people emotionally, and you could also tell stories that design. So in a way, I combine my interest for storytelling, being a writer, with the storytelling that we find in design and in the work that we do every day.
Absolutely. So speaking of science fiction, do you have any favorite science fiction authors that you love?
Oh,
I mean,
so many. I mean, I think whether it's illustrations or writers, William Gibson, and others, I've always followed. And what's so interesting is now I can see that same passion, that same reading, the same sense of possibility that science fiction kind of gives you in my older kids.
Yeah.
They're reading the same things.
Oh, great. Yeah, I've always been partial to Margaret Atwood and Ray Bradbury. Those are kind of my two. So
Yeah, absolutely.
So who would you say is somebody who has shaped your life professionally?
Well, I mean, there's so many people that I, encountered in my career early at Frog Design and Luna Design. Um, Bruce Burdick at the Burdick Group, who did a lot of work with Herman Miller, was also an influence. And then people I met. I was very lucky being a student at Art Center College of Design. We had incredible speakers come. Everyone from like Victor Papanek, who was very engaged in sustainability and really a pioneer in that sense. It was just fantastic to be able to see so many creative minds and to actually spend time with them. And I think that's, as a student, that's the most useful thing, is to be in the company of other creatives, artists, designers. I mean, one of the significant moments was when Luigi Colani came to Art Center and showed his completely, insane and beautiful biomorphic cars and trucks. And to be there, with them, unfortunately he passed away recently, but to be there with them and to see, the ideas and to see the prototypes and to see the craziness, in person was
Right.
amazing.
Oh, that's amazing. So kind of on that note, what would you say is the best advice that you've ever received?
Well, there's a few. There's one of my mentors also was Steven Skov Holt, and he said something that as a creative, as a designer, we at times are a little bit paranoid, about are we doing the right thing? Have we talked to enough people? And he always said, well, have we really solved the problem at hand? Have we gone into all the details? And he said something along the lines of, the question isn't whether you're paranoid. The question is whether you're paranoid enough. It seems. Okay, we got to pause here for a second. And I think that became a good mantra, as we work on projects, to really go deep, to really solve all the problems, to really do our very best to go through all the details. Another one that a person that I, or a mantra or a quote that I love and I keep using is similar to this, as design is never done, which is a Charles Eames quote. And Charles and Ray Eames have always been, in terms of being multidisciplinary designers, a big influence. And of course, through the work that I've done with Herman Miller, being able to see their archives, being able to see their prototypes, their drawings, the amount of exploration and detailing and research that they do in projects was also very instrumental.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know we talked about masks that you're creating and some of the other things that you're doing during the pandemic to help frontline workers and everything, but are there any charitable organizations or nonprofits that you're supporting or working with right now in addition to that?
Yeah, so we did the Bolinas testing site. We're doing a how-to right now. These are all pro bono. We're doing a how-to on how other towns can go ahead and test. I'm part of the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art as a trustee, and of course there's a lot of work that needs to be done there while those institutions are closed to support the artists, to support the programming. And you know, the masks that we will be doing, a significant amount of that will go to PPEs for crews. We've also done.
May have paused here.
Oh, I'm there. Yeah, I don't. For some reason, it pauses me when it says I'm not using the app. So we're doing we did a line of posters, informational posters, which we also have given away to anybody who wants to use them. They're very friendly, posters about washing your hands and staying safe and staying at home, etc. They tend to be a little bit scary and a little bit. We wanted to do something much more friendly and cute and beautiful. So that's also on my IG, and also work that Fuseproject is doing. So there's just a lot going on with different organizations outside of funds that we're distributing, or how we're supporting vendors, etc. There is a lot of work that's being done specifically towards some of these hard problems that we're facing today.
It looks like we have a question from somebody. It says, designers focused on creation, do you think about entropy?
About entropy?
Yes.
I'm not sure what the meaning. I mean, I understand what entropy means, but it would be, I guess is it a question about how things are sort of naturally evolve?
To clarify your question, Postmasters Gallery, please do.
Yeah. So, but in general, there is, there is a tremendous amount of work that's being done, both in terms of solutions, but also in terms of what are the themes, what are the things that are still continuing to be important and critical in design, or in fact, maybe even more important as we come out of the crisis. And one of them is sustainability. In everything we have seen, sustainability, as this pause on the world, is clearly showing us how human activity or less human activity creates a less polluted, more beautiful environment around us. Clearly, there are going to be even stronger calls than there were before for sustainable products, environments, and experiences. And I think this will be coming out of the crisis. This will continue to be the most important thing that we can work on as designers.
So we have another question here. What advice would you have for someone like me who has just graduated and the situation is very confusing to make decisions?
Yes, I feel for you. I think it's very difficult to sort of graduate in a time of crisis. I graduated in 1991, which actually was a very tough time. There were very few jobs in design then. I think the good news is compared to when I graduated, again, 25 plus years ago, there is a lot more design. Design is a lot more understood and actually needed and central. So the profession has expanded, and the need and the jobs have expanded tremendously. But my advice is actually, in the time of crisis like we see now, new ideas are emerging. New companies are building, whether they're startups or new initiatives within large companies. And those are actually really exciting things to participate to, exciting things to be a part of, because at the time of crisis, that's also a time of the biggest change. And so there's to be part of change, to be part of transformation, is is I think a great opportunity. So while there's probably hiring freezes out there, people aren't hiring directly, I would try to apply myself to work that is really relevant today and that you think will be really needed in the near future, and show that work, because that's what will get somebody hired. That's what will get somebody to sort of join a team, is that forward thinking.
Mm-hmm. Well, great questions, everyone. Thank you again to Yves for joining us and being part of our featured speaker series. So an archive of this chat is going to live on our Instagram stories for about 24 hours, and then it will be uploaded to our website, graymag.com, so you can watch it there if you want to. And then tune in here on Monday when we sit down with Fiona Morrison. She is the founder of Wolf Circus Jewelry. That'll be at 12 p.m. on Monday. So thank you again to Yves. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone, and we will see you next time.
Thank you very much.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.